It is 2024 and we have only 3 months left until 2025. I know many of you wanted to learn English, many of you wanted to become fluent in English and wanted to speak in English confidently in front of people, but so far you have not made it happen. You have not achieved your desired outcome. You still get stuck whenever you try to speak in English. Your vocabulary still sucks. Your grammar is still terrible. But don't worry, because in this video, I am going to lay down entire roadmap that will help you to enter 2025 with the confidence that I can speak in English in front of people. I can speak in English confidently at any given time. I will be speaking about a couple of habits that you must adapt in order to make your journey a little bit easier, as well as I will be talking about a couple of steps that will help you to learn this language easily without struggling much. And you don't need to worry about the resources because I will be helping you to understand and get the clarity that how you are supposed to follow every single step. So first of all, we need to understand that we have a very limited time. We have only 3 months left. So we have to look at it like a deadline, that you have only 90 days or only 3 months to complete this challenge or this project. Because if you don't do that, if you don't make it your deadline, then probably you might not focus on learning this language and following every single step that you are required to do. And you constantly procrastinate and end up speaking like a kid. So it's better for you to create a deadline. You have to tell this to yourself every single day that I have only 3 months. I have exactly 90 days to get this thing done. And within 90 days, I have to complete this project at any cost. The first and most important step is consumption. When it comes to consumption, a lot of people skip this part because they say, somebody has told me that if I want to get better at this language easily and quickly, then I need to focus on speaking as much as I can. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, I totally agree with you. I know that if you want to speak in English effortlessly and easily, you must focus on speaking as much as you can. But the reality is, if you want to produce effortlessly, if you want to produce naturally, you must focus on consuming enough so that you have reached to the point where you can do everything easily without thinking much, without translating much. So let me give you an example. Suppose you want to learn how to bake a cake. So you cannot randomly go to the kitchen and start adding any random ingredient because you know that you want to bake a cake. First of all, you have to watch any specific video, or you have to go to a chef that could teach you, baker that could teach you how to do so, or you need to read the recipe that what are the things you need and how to do every single thing. Even though you have read, you have watched or followed every single thing a couple of times, still you might forget some of the things that you need to add to that cake. So in order to do everything naturally and automatically, you must reread them, you must rewatch them and do every single thing again and again so that you start feeling that now I don't need to look at the recipe, I don't need to look at the video, or I don't need to do anything because now everything has got fixed in my mind and now I can easily bake the cake effortlessly. So the same rule applies when it comes to learning English. That's why it is recommended that if you want to produce effortlessly and without translating everything in your head, then focus on consuming enough so that everything gets fixed in your mind and you focus on speaking naturally and automatically. So the first step through which you can consume is active listening. Well, I have spoken about listening quite many times, but for the very first time, I am introducing you to active listening. So there are two ways through which you can focus on listening. One of them is passive listening and another one is active listening. So in passive listening, we focus on listening while getting some of our things done. That could be in any form. While commuting, while driving, while walking, while running, that could be done in this form. But when it comes to active listening, you sit in a specific place and focus on every single word, every single sentences that's being structured. So you have to focus on active listening. Now, what you want to listen, it's completely up to you. Whether you prefer to listen to any podcast or you prefer to download the audio of the video and then listen, or if you prefer to listen to song, do that, whatever works best for you. But make sure that you are focusing on active listening. Now, when it comes to how many minutes or how many hours you are supposed to focus on it, so it's completely up to you, depends on how busy you are, but at least you need to focus on active listening at least for 30 minutes every single day. I know it might be a little bit challenging to you, but it is a challenge for you. You have to do it at least for 90 days, that could be 3 months. So you have to listen every single day for 30 minutes for the next 90 days. Another way through which you can consume is by watching. When it comes to watching, there are several things you can watch. That could be YouTube videos, you can watch any cartoons, movies, TV shows. It's completely up to you what you prefer. But I personally like to watch YouTube videos because I think it provides us more content. It will also help you to get different kind of information while being entertained at the same time. So I prefer to watch YouTube videos. So it's completely up to you whether you want to watch movies or YouTube videos. Now, we have a very limited time, so we have to cover up everything in 3 months. Let's say you are interested in spirituality, personal growth, and finance. So every single month, you're going to pick one topic, one niche, and only watch videos related to that specific genre or that specific category. Let's say in October you want to know more about finance, then watch only those videos that is related to finance and follow only 3 to 5 creators that make videos on this topic. Because if you start watching a lot of videos, if you start following a lot of creators, then you will end up wasting a lot of your time and you will not be improving your English, you will not be improving your knowledge and gain any new information. So I would recommend you to follow only a couple of creators, because in this way you can gain more and improve your English faster. When it comes to how many videos you are supposed to watch every single day, so if the video is lengthy, if it's too long, then you are supposed to watch only one video per day. But if the video is too short, then I would recommend you to watch at least 2 to 3 videos every single day, and that would be sufficient for you. Another way to consume is by reading. If you're someone who has been following me for a while, then you know it very well that I always emphasize reading because it has drastically changed my language skill. And I feel if you are someone who has been reading for a while, then you must have noticed your language skills have improved so much drastically. And that's why I really want you to adapt the habit of reading. I always emphasize this one step reading so much because I have witnessed something that made me realize that if you want to improve your language skill, if you want to change the way you speak, then you have to follow only one step, and that is reading, and you are good to go. And I'm saying this because I have something to share with you. It might not be relevant to you, but I guess it will help you to understand why am I saying this. So I basically belong to Jharkhand, and in Jharkhand, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, a lot of people, not everyone, but most of us speak in a bit different way. They say hum instead of main. And there's nothing wrong in this because I grew up speaking in this way. But at the time of COVID, I got into reading Hindi stories. So while I was reading stories, everything was written in this way that मैं ये करूंगी, मैं वो करूंगी, like in this term. And I read around 250, 30 stories. I guess more than that. I couldn't really count it. But I read stories for 7 to 8 months with consistency. Like most of the time, I was reading stories because I was kind of interested in them. And I guess after COVID, when I went back to my college, everybody was asking me one question, that why are you speaking in this way? And I was like, what is wrong with the way I speak? Because I didn't really understand anything. I had no idea what people were talking about. But everybody kept pointing out that why are you speaking in this way? And one day I was having conversation with my brother, and he was like, you started speaking a bit different, like not the way you used to speak. And I also observed that I started speaking in this way, that man, I don't know why it happened, how it happened, but it happened naturally. A lot of people have asked me that how did you start speaking in this way, or what did you do to do so? And I didn't have any answer because I didn't do anything consciously. It happened naturally and automatically because I consumed craziest amount of content. Only I know how many stories I have read, how many hours I have spent every single day. I guess sometimes more than 8 to 9 hours reading only those kind of stories. So it is pretty obvious that I would adapt it naturally. I'm not saying that this is the right way or this is the wrong way. It is just my example. I really wanted you to understand that if you read books, if you have the habit of read anything, not only books, then you have more chances to become better at this language. So I really want you to adapt the habit of reading books. You do not necessarily have to read books if you do not have one. You can go to Google and read any article. When it comes to how many minutes you're supposed to read every single day, then I would highly recommend you to read at least 5 to 10 pages, not less than that. If you have more time, then go on. You can read as many pages as you can, but at least 5 to 10 pages. Try to read every single day for the next 90 days. Or if you do not have a book, then that's alright. You can go to Google and read 2 articles every single day, and I guess that would be sufficient for you if you do it for the next 90 days. And within 90 days, you will be able to see the result. You will be able to feel that you have progressed so much and you have come so far. So please adapt this habit because it will entirely change your language skill, no matter which language you want to learn. Another important step I want you to focus if you want to become fluent in English is to enhance your vocabulary. I know a lot of people have said this to you before, that if you want to speak English flawlessly, effortlessly, then focus on learning 3 words every single day. Learn 5 words every single day. Learn 10 words every single day. But to be very honest, it is unrealistic. I myself would never do that. I mean, if somebody says this to me that, if you want to become an expert, if you want to speak like a native speaker, then focus on learning 5 words or even 3 words every single day. I would do it hardly for a week or so, but for a long term, it is not really going to work because you would really not be able to learn 3 to 5 words every single day. So I really want you to focus on learning only 1 word every single day. And how you're supposed to do it? Don't worry. You only have to read something actively or listen actively. Because once you do that, I'm sure you are going to come across to so many new words that will blow your mind. And it will help you to build vocabulary and enhance the way you speak. So just learn 1 word every single day. Write it down in a piece of paper or anywhere you want and hang on the wall or wherever you go. I really want you to do that because if you look at the word more frequently, you will remind yourself what it means and how to use this one specific word in context, and it will be outstanding. The result you will be getting after 30 days is going to blow your mind. So please do that if you want to improve your English in 3 months and want to enter 2025 with the confidence that now I can speak in English with anybody. Another important step is speaking. I know many of you have been trying your level best to follow every single step, but at the end of the day, you are not able to speak at all. You are getting stuck whenever you try to speak. You are not able to speak flawlessly the way you expect yourself to speak. And I totally understand how it feels because I myself have gone through that phase. But after following this challenge, trust me, you will be able to speak English effortlessly and you will be able to speak English without translating because we have this habit to constantly translate everything from our mother tongue to English. But once you follow this step, all the required steps I have mentioned before, you will be able to speak English naturally. So what you are supposed to do? I want you to choose two topics or two questions, whatever seems best for you, and start answering those questions and start talking about those topics. I personally prefer picking up questions because that sounds more authentic and it helps me to explain myself in a more structured way, and it also helps me to clarify my points and to explain what I am thinking and why do I think in this way. Now, the question is where to get these topics from and how to get this question. So you don't have to worry about it. Just go to ChatGPT and ask that suggest me 30 questions, suggest me 30 topics I want to answer to improve my English. So I will be providing you a couple of topics that will help you to get the clarity that what are the things you have to do. So you can look at the screen and get the understanding of what kind of questions you need to ask to yourself to have the good understanding of this language. So now the question is how many minutes you're supposed to practice every single day. So the most you can do is to practice as much as you can, and the least you can do is to practice every single topic for 15 minutes or more. If you have more time or if you have more opinion on that topic, then do it. But you have to practice one topic at least for 15 minutes or any question at least for 15 minutes. Now, how you're supposed to do so? You have many options. I would highly recommend you to join any application if you have been using anyone, or if you cannot get access to any application, or if you cannot get the subscription, then you have an option to record yourself in front of camera. I guess this is the best way to do so because it will help you to understand about your errors, about your mistakes, what are the things you have been doing wrong, and how to improve your pronunciation. This is one of the steps I have been following for a very long time, I guess from the beginning of my journey. It made me realize about my pronunciation, uh, about the way I construct sentences, about the kind of vocabulary I use. Because many times we repeat same vocabulary, but we don't realize them until we look at our videos and understand that, oh, I have been repeating this word quite frequently, so now I need to use the alternative. So that's why I want you to speak in front of camera or in front of mirror. I guess you have many options to do so. So just follow any one of them and try to speak every single day for the next 3 months so that you can speak English fluently and confidently. Another important step is writing. I know many of you don't like writing, and that's absolutely normal because at first I also did not like writing. I used to do it by forcing myself because I had no other option but to write every single day to improve my English. But from the time I started writing, everything became much easier for me. I started explaining things in a more simple way, in a more structured and organized way. It also helped me to become a better storyteller. Now, I do not think that words are that complicated. Even though I'm given any complicated topics, I can explain that in a more simple way. Well, I'm not an expert, but I can do it the way I can do it way better than the way I used to. So I feel if you really want to improve your writing skill, then please follow this one step for the next 30 days because it will not only help you to improve your language skill, but it will also shape your perspective. It will also change the way you think and the way you look at things. And now the question is, a lot of people have asked me this question, that how to understand where we have made a mistake. So what I used to do initially, I used to write down every single thing and then copy them and then paste them in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to let me know about my errors, about the vocabulary, or about the grammar structure that I have done wrong. And in this way, I started realizing about my grammar structure and the way I write. And it helped me a lot. So if you're someone who is worried about your mistakes you make while writing, then please take the help of ChatGPT. It will let you know about your errors and your mistakes, and in this way, you can get very good at writing in English. And the bonus part is grammar. Should we learn grammar or not? This is the most frequent question I get asked. And the answer is very simple. It depends on your long term goal. I mean, ask this question to yourself. Why are you learning this language? Why are you trying so hard to speak in English fluently and confidently? Is it just because you want to communicate with anybody at any given time? Or is it because you have to go to any other country for your higher study or for any kind of any purpose you have? Or is it because you want to clear IELTS exam or you want to get better at your academic? It depends on your goal. So if you want to improve your English because you want to get more opportunities and you want to communicate with anybody, then you do not need grammar, because after following all the steps, after consuming enough, you will naturally get good at grammar. But if you have a goal to clear IELTS exam or to move to another country, or especially English speaking country, then I would recommend you to focus on grammar, because you need to have a good understanding of sentence structure. I mean, I have never worked on my grammar. I have hardly studied grammar, but people quite often ask me this question, that how to improve grammar. I don't really know how to improve my grammar because I have never done it intentionally. There was a time when I sat with my book, I guess just for a week or so, and I got fed up with that. I understood it quite early that it is something I cannot do for the long period of time. So it's better to learn everything naturally. So it's completely up to you whether you want to learn grammar or not, based on what is your goal. So here are a couple of steps you are required to follow if you want to speak in English fluently, flawlessly, effortlessly, and without translating everything in your head. I know it might be a little bit challenging to you because of your time. If somebody is super busy, then it might be a little bit daunting to them. But I would recommend you to focus on following every single step as much as you can, so that you can get the most out of it. And look at it more like a challenge or project, because only in this way you will be able to motivate yourself and to follow every single step. And yeah, I'm also going to take up this challenge because I also feel that I need to uplift my language skill. I need to upgrade myself and get better at this language as quickly as possible. So I hope this video would be helpful to you. I hope you are going to take up this challenge and learn English and speak English fluently. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye bye.